Iro Daniels. Thank you so much for joining us. Nigeria is bleeding. In just 1 week, 315 students and teachers were abducted from a Catholic school in Niger. 25 schoolgirls abducted in Kebbi. A church in Kwara was attacked and several worshippers abducted. You could literally see a mother trying to save her child, an old woman who could barely run fighting for her life. That video was highly horrifying. A high-ranking army general was killed by ISWAP fighters in Bono. Now, these are not just numbers. They are everyday Nigerians like you and I in a country where we are supposed to call home. People are afraid. People don't even want to travel anymore. And not everyone can afford armed private security and convoys. And even at that, I can tell you that your safety is still not guaranteed. Section 14, subsection 2B of the Nigerian Constitution states very clearly that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of the government. Emphasis on primary purpose. I cannot believe that we're back to saying bring back our girls in 2025. Even some of the Chibok girls are still missing after 11 years. What has become of our beloved nation? We need actions, not headlines. We need justice, not amnesty for repentant terrorists. We want a nation where we can call home again. Now, these are my personal thoughts, and we are going to discuss the state of the nation. With me in the studio is a lawyer, Wale Oshunde. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Hiro.
It's been a very trying time for a lot of Nigerians, and I mean, this did not just happen from nowhere. It has been happening years and years. It got to a point that when you hear that people have been abducted or people have been kidnapped, it's just like, oh yes, it's another news. What do you make of the state of the nation currently?
I mean, I think before I answer your question directly, our heart goes out to the families, that have lost loved ones in this very, very dastardly, unfortunate, and, if you like, avoidable or preventable, acts or situations. It's really sad. And, these are heart-wrenching, horrendous, absolutely unpleasant and obnoxious situations in our country. Our heart goes out, to all of these people who have lost loved ones directly. I feel really sad for the government of the day, because just when, they were beginning to count some gains, to the experience over how many years that, this current government has come into office, now we are beginning to see these attacks come back again.
Yeah.
And just like you said, 11 years after they bring back our girls, the Chibok girls, now we are beginning to also see some other really unfortunate situations coming out of, the country.
So where are we getting it wrong? You did mention that you feel sad for the government of the day, but I mean, they came into power on the promise of we're going to fix things. We are going to do better. We are going to ensure the safety of lives and properties. So why the sadness?
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I just feel sad because, just when the government is beginning to see a semblance of economic growth and what have you, and just when the US president, some weeks ago came out to say, hey, I'm going to invade the country for, acts such as this, right? And specifically genocide against Christians and what have you, which the government of the day is still trying to refute. Now you're beginning to see killings coming out of the northern area of Nigeria. And again, it probably just would send some notes to some people, foreign governments specifically, that, look, we're getting it right. We're telling you exactly what is happening in your country, but now you're saying, these things are not real. Now you have another case of bring back our girls. It's really sad. It's really painful that we're experiencing this as a country. But I think that the government has really got to sit up and address the fundamental issues in the country. There is massive insecurity in the country. We just then need to tell ourselves the core truths. Let's stop trying to defend things when they happen. what have we got to do as a people to stop these senseless killings, these obnoxious and very horrendous situations coming out of our country? It is not good in terms of narratives for investors, even for the experience that people have in the country. And the government has got to really sit right on the table. I know the security agencies are doing their best, but look, can we do more? Can we do better? Can we ensure that these things do not happen again? They are stopped once and for all. Nigerians don't really want to hear stories anymore. You know, nobody wants to hear stories. We are working, we are trying, we are moving, we are shaking.
Right.
No, what Nigerians really want to see at this point in time is that there is an absolute stop, end to all these senseless and really horrendous killings.
All right, so...
And kidnappings, all right?
This is not even about political parties. Now, we're going to look beyond the divide of whether this is APC, PDP, what have you, because we've seen that in several dispensations, including when the PDP was in power and when currently... Now, of course, APC is currently in power. We have consistently seen a pattern on the rise. And the patterns I'm talking about is these things happen, there is no repercussion, there is no justice served. We see situations where the Nigerian government with their proxies are negotiating with terrorists. We've seen situations where popular terrorists, even with guns, you know, come out and they're granting media interviews and saying, okay, we're repentant. We've seen governments make outfits for repentant terrorists and say, oh, we're trying to see how we can rehab them and then later absorb them into the society. So a situation like that, where it's like, for some people, they might interpret it as you are encouraging terrorism. It's the biggest business right now, and kidnapping is a big business right now. What message does it send to the people that want to bring this nation down when they know that they can get away sometimes with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it 100%, Hero. Look, government has got to sit up and send examples to the rest of the world, right? To these people that are even perpetrating these acts, right? We are not going to condone any form of, you know, criminality in our country. And we should not negotiate with anybody. If you're a terrorist, nobody should negotiate with you. If you're a kidnapper, a bandit, nobody should negotiate with you. I think the law should start taking its course. It's very simple. We have robust laws to try people that have committed these offenses, that have committed these crimes. And I do not think any right-thinking society should condone these acts. So right now, I think what we really need to do, and you see, sometimes when I hear that some government officials or even some members of the society know where terrorists are, they know where bandits are, they know where kidnappers are, and our security agencies are not going after them to get them and bring them to book, bring them to justice. It baffles me. Like, I'm really so surprised, you know, because no serious-minded society would function that way. You see a criminal, you see a thief, you see a kidnapper, you see a killer, all right, a murderer, and you would not go after them and bring them to book. That is a joke. And that's exactly why the government has got to sit down right now, and we all congregate at that juncture where we strengthen the apparatus of government and the state towards ensuring that those perpetrating criminality in our country, they are arrested, they are prosecuted, and they are brought to justice.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a bid to ensure that he really deals with this decisively, changed the service chiefs. It is not a move that is very new for a president, a sitting president. I think even late Muhammadu Buhari also changed service chief, you know. Commander-in-chiefs, every now and then they change the service chief in order to bring in perhaps some sort of change in the structure. Now, there have been some online viral videos where you even see military officers complain that before they get to where these terrorists already have information about their coming. So, do you have any idea of what is really going on, even within the system itself? Because I genuinely think, and this is a personal opinion, by the way, that the military, they are really trying their best. But I feel like a house divided against itself cannot stand, and there might just be forces within the military. Do you think there are forces within the military that maybe are giving information to these terrorists?
To be honest with you, I think, yes, sabotage is present, all right? There is this form or element or shape of sabotage in the system, not only within the military, even in the police, even in the political space, all right? Some people are definitely sabotaging the effort of government and government officials. Let's not make any mistake about that. Even sometimes, some people have said that even foreign governments or foreign elements, you know, are also bringing certain twists and dynamics into this whole fray. But look, I think the point is, if you are a service chief, you've got your job well cut out for you. And you have to crack it. You just have to find a way to make this thing work. It's just like making you the MD of a company, and the company is not doing so well. By the time you take over the reins of affairs, what you want to do is to fix it, not complain, all right? So if you've taken a job, the expectation is so high, and you know that Nigerians are yearning for change. I mean, true change, all right? They want things to get better for their people. They want things to get better for the country. We even want the narrative to be better, because if you travel out of this country now, you know, some people have tagged us, you know, as certain kinds of people that we are not, okay? And we need to change the narrative. We need to attract more investors. There are a lot of things, no-brainers, all right, that can make quick gains, low-hanging fruits that can really help the country right now. I think the service chiefs, our political office holders, our government officials, our leaders in this country, they've got to really congregate at a juncture where they tell themselves the real truth, the pain points. They know what exactly the problems are. They have heard from the people they can see on television every day. They can hear from radio. Okay, we all scream these things. But what are they doing? What are they really going to do? Let's not play politics. And please, if you know anyone who is playing politics, who is trying to sabotage the efforts of government, government officials, military, police, all our security agencies, call them out. Nigerians are definitely going to support, you know, the government if we begin to hear 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 names, okay, that these are the people that are sabotaging the efforts of the government and, you know, our security apparatus in the country, and they are not doing what they should do. They should call them out, and Nigerians will definitely back the government. But if you are helping some people, you are even sitting with terrorists, eating with them, dining with them, and then, you know, protecting them in some instances, we are not going to move anywhere, and we'll be joking, okay? And then killings will go on, kidnapping would go on, banditry will go on, you know, even clashes between farmers and herders and all of those things would go on, and our country would definitely pay for it.
Let's talk about the timing of all of this. When President Donald Trump made that tweet, the stock market, the Nigerian stock market fell.
Yeah. Because
investors needed to pull out their money. Then we are now seeing almost as if there's a rise in all of these kidnappings just right after that. Yeah. And then, of course, recently the proscribed leader of the IPOB, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, has now been sentenced to life imprisonment. What do you make of this entire situation? And what do you make of the timing? Because, of course, we know that we're talking about the entire Southeast and the feelings of the entire Southeast. What do you make of the entire timing of everything happening at the same time?
So, you see, to be honest with you, the Nnamdi Kanu situation is another kettle of fish entirely. For me, there is a reason why we have the courts. I'm a lawyer. And, you know, I'm a minister in the Temple of Justice, all right? If this particular court, I mean the Federal High Court, has deemed it fit to sentence him, you know, to life imprisonment, if Mazen Nnamdi Kanu feels that he is not guilty, you know, as sentenced, he has a right to appeal within 90 days, you know, to the Court of Appeal. I would say that if he feels strongly about the sentence, he should, of course, explore his rights within the law by appealing, you know, to the Court of Appeal. But again, looking at what has happened or what has played out on television, all right, and the news reports that we're getting out of the courts, I think that he probably should not have tried to defend himself. He is not a lawyer, to the best of my knowledge, and he has access, you know, to legal representation. People who really understand the process, the court process, okay? He should have allowed them, you know, take up the challenge and follow the process of, you know, justice in the system or in the country to the latter. He then said, no, he's not going to do that. He wants to represent himself. Of course, under the law, he has that right to equally represent himself. But again, looking at some clips, you know, playing out of court, sometimes he would get angry, it will cast aspersions on the person of the judge. That is not the way people should conduct themselves in the courts. And this is me being very brutally honest with everyone, with you, okay? Regardless of whatever the situation is in court, you don't abuse the judge, you don't cast aspersions on the judiciary and the system or the structure or the institution, okay? You can take your anger or your pain points upstairs, through the proper channels of elevation within our, judicial hierarchy.
Okay.
So, but I think that the judge has made this pronouncement. If he's not satisfied, he has every right to challenge that.
Okay, so there are already questions about the independence of the judicial system in the first place. And I can understand within the confines of what the rule of law says in Nigeria, let the courts do what they have to do. However, you cannot also take away the fact that this man is from a particular region, and there's a sentiment from that particular region, from the southeast. Yeah. There is a sentiment on ground. A lot of people are saying, you give amnesty to terrorists. Now, this man that you're talking about, we've never found a gun with him. He's just saying that we want the Southeasterners to be independent, away from Nigeria. So, and you are charging him on terrorism. So, what I'm trying to say, how does that impact on the national unity, especially at a time like this, where we all have to come together?
So, I get your point 100%. For me, I think that there can be a political solution to it. However, the fact that we are looking at it as a southeastern issue, for me, I don't believe that is correct. It is one man that has been charged to court, all right? And if we begin to look at every situation, from a geopolitical perspective, we will definitely get things wrong in this country. It then means that for that Yoruba guy that is charged, to court for theft, everybody from the southwest would then say, oh, he's from the southwest, so do something. For that political criminal that is charged from the north central, we would all say, oh, it's a north central issue. No, I do not think we should move that way. As a country, we have rules, we have laws, and it is individuals that should be blamed for whatever criminal or whatever issues that they are being accused of, all right? And then they should be taken to court, they should be prosecuted. Even if terrorists are captured today, bandits, kidnappers, they would be dealt with, on a case-by-case basis, not on the account of where they have come from. Okay, I do not think we should play that politics, and I don't want to join people to, discuss things of such nature. He is an independent person. Right. He has been arrested. He has been prosecuted. He should face the justice system. If he feels that, he's not happy with what has been passed or handed down, at the Federal High Court, he has every right under the law to appeal till it gets to the Supreme Court, and then he's able to really rest his case, All right. As the case may be.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Wale. This has been a very enlightening session, and please do enjoy the rest of your day.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Robin Mind continues after this break. Stay with us.